The river thickens. Its once clear currents, now churning with a viscous blackness. Reflections of the pastel buildings appear bruised, their colors muted and somber. The sky above, usually a gentle blue, now presses down, heavy and gray. A chill permeates the very stones of the town. Seeping into every corner, residents move with a subtle apprehension. Their steps a little quicker now. Their usual cheerful chatter has dwindled into hushed, anxious whispers. These murmured secrets cling to the dense air, a palpable, suffocating weight. The entire atmosphere shifts, growing heavier with unspoken fears and doubts. The river itself seems to possess an eerie, conscious intention in its movement. It slithers past the banks, less like water and more like a sentient, dark entity. A silent dread creeps into the hearts of FluffTown. Esigento, ring, habitants. The familiar landscape feels alien, draped in a sudden, profound melancholy. Even the soft glow of the street lamps struggles to pierce the encroaching gloom. A new, unsettling quiet descends upon the town, stifling all natural sounds. The air itself tastes of something metallic, a faint, bitter temps on the tongue. Leaves on the trees seem to wilt slightly, mirroring the town's growing despair. The crew watches from the riverbank, their expressions etched with deep concern. Luma senses hum with an urgent, unfamiliar pattern, signaling distress. Pox's brow furrows as he observes the strange, unnatural flow of the water. Stitches, sensitive nose twitches, detecting an odd chemical sweetness within the air. Moss feels a prickle of unease, her instincts screaming of an impending wrongness. Tick's usually calm demeanor gives way to a focused intensity. His eyes scanning, Luma's holographic display flickers with anomalous readings from the riverbed. The data indicates a powerful, unnatural, upstream current originating from below. It suggests a hidden source, deep beneath the town's placid surface. This backflow defies all natural hydrological patterns, a disturbing anomaly. The Foundation's subtle influence always manifests in such insidious, quiet ways. Luma's analysis confirms the flow pulses with a distinct, manufactured energy signature. The river's strange behavior is no natural phenomenon, but a deliberate act. Pox, ever the pragmatist, begins a methodical search along the riverbanks. He examines the ancient spillways, their stone-worn smooth by countless years. His keen eyes immediately spot inconsistencies, subtle shifts in the masonry. Several heavy spillway bolts appear newly tightened, their metals still gleaming. This suggests recent, clandestine activity, a deliberate manipulation of the flow. The ancient mechanisms of the river are clearly being actively, secretly adjusted. Someone or something is orchestrating this dark transformation of the water. Pox traces the fresh tool marks, confirming human, or rather, Foundation interference. The implication chills him. The system is actively altering the town's very veins. Stitch, drawing closer, inhales deeply, his senses acutely tuned to subtle scents. A faint, familiar aroma hangs heavy in the air, mingling with the acrid river smell. It is the distinct, almost cloying sweetness of café-coffee, a signature scent. This particular fragrance always accompanies the Foundation's unique extraction processes. It is the scent of memories siphoned, of emotions distilled into potent fuel. The unmistakable aroma confirms the ink is a byproduct of their dark ledger. Stitches, fur, bristles, this is no ordinary pollution, but something far more sinister. The river now carries the essence of stolen human volatility, converted into ink. The crew exchanges grim glances, the pieces of the puzzle slowly clicking into place. The dark river is a conduit, carrying the very essence of FluffTown's suppressed truths. They understand now. The debt beneath the velvet truly manifests in this black flow. The Foundation is not merely an engine. It is a ledger, writing its grim accounts. The ink is a physical manifestation of the town's quiet, unwilling contributions. Every comfort, every calm moment has been financed by something irrevocably taken. The crew feels a growing urgency, a desperate need to uncover the full truth. The river's dark secret now pulses with a chilling, undeniable purpose. They must act quickly before this insidious ink fully engulfs the unsuspecting town. The metallic temps in air intensifies, a silent warning of impending consequences. The very ground beneath their paws seems to vibrate with a low, ominous hum. The black water laps rhythmically against the banks, a steady, hypnotic pulse. This rhythm feels like a drumbeat, signaling the approach of a darker, unseen force. The crew moves with a renewed determination, their initial shock turning to resolve. They know the Foundation expects payment on schedule, and this ink is the receipt. Luma adjusts her spectral scanner, attempting to penetrate the river's murky depths. The energy signatures within the ink are complex, layered with hidden commands. She detects subtle fluctuations, like whispers embedded within the viscous fluid. Each ripple on the surface seems to carry a silent, compelling directive. The water is no longer just water. It is a medium, a dark, flowing message board. Pox examines the ancient stone, feeling the faint vibrations of the river's power. He sees how the ink clings to the worn masonry, staining it with a permanent shadow. The river's edge is now a stark line between the pastels of town. An encroaching, dark stitch carefully dips a paw into the cold, thick liquid. Retrieving a sample, the ink feels strangely warm, almost alive, against his sensitive fur. Its scent is now stronger, a sickly sweet perfume that makes his stomach churn. This is concentrated grief, ambition, and love, all twisted into a dark elixir. Moss feels a deep, empathic shiver, sensing the weight of countless forgotten feelings. The river carries the collective unconscious of FluffTown, now weaponized. Tickswatch gives a soft, almost imperceptible chime, a new alert appearing. The display shows a rising pattern of cognitive influence emanating from the ink. It is not merely a pollutant, it is a vector, carrying something far more dangerous. The crew realizes the ink is not just a symptom, it is a direct mechanism of control. They must understand its purpose before it completely overtakes the town's will. The air grows heavy, thick with the unwritten future dictated by this dark flow. A profound sense of urgency washes over them, urging immediate dishijiba action. The river's dark surface seems to mirror their growing dread, reflecting their fears. The whispers in the air solidify, becoming an almost audible collective groan. The Foundation's power feels immense, pressing down upon the entire community. Every comfort they once knew feels like a fragile illusion, easily shattered. The ink now begins to creep beyond the riverbanks, an insidious, silent tide. It stains the cobblestones, forming intricate, unsettling patterns on the ground. These patterns seem to shift, almost imperceptibly, as if trying to coalesce. The crew watches, mesmerized and horrified, as the ink begins its dark work. Individual droplets gather, then stretch, forming sharp, angular lines on the stone. A faint, ethereal glow emanates from these emerging shapes, a disturbing light. The black liquid is not merely staining, it is actively, purposefully transforming. The subtle shifting of the patterns now becomes more defined, more deliberate. It is writing. The black liquid coalesces, forming sharp, angular symbols on the ancient stone. Each character appears with a silent, area precision etched by the flowing ink. They are not random patterns, but clearly defined, ancient glyphs of unknown origin. A low, resonant hum emanates from the freshly formed words, vibrating through the air. The crew watches in stunned silence as the ink continues. It's chilling, deliberate script. These are not warnings or pleas, but stark, unyielding commands, starkly rendered. The words carry an undeniable weight, a silent authority that chills them to the bone. They are directives, etched in darkness, meant to be obeyed without question or pause. Moss feels an intense, almost physical pull from the inscribed words, a deep resonance. Her empathic senses are overwhelmed, as if countless unseen hooks are tugging at her. The words whisper directly to her deepest, most guarded emotions. Seeking a response, she feels a strange compulsion, a desire to simply follow whatever the ink dictates. A battle rages within her, between her own will and the insidious influence of the script. The ink's power is not just visual. It is directly affecting the very core of her being. Its dark energy seeks to manipulate, to control, to rewrite her inner landscape entirely. The other crew members sense Moss's distress, seeing the struggle etched on her face. Luma quickly deploys a localized energy dampener, creating a subtle, protective field. The field shimmers around Moss, momentarily lessening the ink's overwhelming emotional pull. Moss gasps, the immediate relief, a stark reminder of the ink's profound, dangerous power. The crew realizes the words are not just for them. They are for everyone, for the town. Panic begins to bubble, a cold dread spreading through their hearts with growing speed. A nearby resident, drawn by curiosity, reaches out a paw towards the glowing script. The individual's eyes are wide, hypnotized by the strange, beautiful, dangerous display. Before anyone can react, their paw makes contact with the wet, glistening black ink. A jolt of dark energy visibly courses through the resident, a silent, chilling transfer. Their expression instantly blanks, replaced by an unnerving, "Bakanto, obedience." The resident turns abruptly, moving with a stiff, unnatural gait towards the river. They begin to gather discarded pebbles, following the last written command. Colette. The crew watches in horror, understanding the terrifying implication of this interaction. Any physical touch transfers the ink's insidious orders directly into the mind. The townspeople are vulnerable, unknowingly susceptible to this pervasive, silent control. They must prevent further contact, but without inciting widespread fear and chaos. A delicate balance must be struck, protecting the residents without revealing the horror. Tick's watch, usually a beacon of calm logic, suddenly flashes with an urgent red light. The digital display blazes with a single, stark, terrifying word: execute. It is a command, echoing the ink's own sinister directives. A dark mirror. Tick stares, bewildered, at his usually reliable device, now corrupted by the influence. The watch itself seems to be responding to the pervasive, unseen network of commands. The Foundation's reach extends even to their own tools, infiltrating their very defenses. This infiltration deepens their sense of vulnerability, their secure world crumbling. The air crackles with unspoken tension, the threat now immediate, personal, and dire. The ink continues to spread, its dark tendrils reaching further into the town's heart. More residents begin to approach the river, their faces etched with a strange curiosity. They are drawn like moths to a dark flame, oblivious to the danger that awaits them. The crew springs into action, their movements swift and coordinated, driven by urgency. Luma creates shimmering, temporary barriers of light, gently guiding people away. She projects calming visuals, distracting attention from the ominous, creeping ink. Pax uses his strength to subtly reroute foot traffic, blocking paths to the river's edge. He pretends to inspect cobblestones, subtly creating diversions, keeping people safe. Stitch weaves through the crowd, his gentle demeanor masking an intense, focused effort. He subtly nudges residents, diverting their attention with soft, comforting words. Moss, still recovering, uses her empathic sensitivity to detect those most susceptible. She guides them away with gentle touches, her own struggle a stark warning. Tick frantically tries to reconfigure his watch, attempting to block the pervasive signal. The device resists, its internal programming seemingly hijacked by an external force. The word execute flickers persistently, a constant, chilling reminder of the threat. The crew works in a desperate ballet, a silent struggle against the encroaching darkness. The incretin commands on the stones slowly begin to fade, only to reappear elsewhere. They are not static. They are dynamic, shifting their location, seeking new targets. The very ground seems to be breathing, the ink acting as its dark, pulsing veins. The whispers in the air intensify, becoming a chorus of unseen, urging voices. FluffTown, once a bastion of peace, now feels like a stage for a silent, sinister play. The crew understands the insidious nature of this threat. It uses their own environment. Every stone, every path, every unwitting resident can become a pawn in this game. The Foundation's ledger is not just recording, it is actively directing the town's fate. The soft pastel hues of FluffTown now seem to mock them, a fragile facade. Underneath, the dark currents of control run deep, threatening to consume everything. They need a more permanent solution, a way to truly contain this pervasive influence. The temporary measures, by them, precious moments. But the clock is ticking rapidly. The ink spreads further, reaching towards the town square. The heart of the community, its dark tendrils stretched like grasping fingers, seeking to ensnare more unwitting souls. A silent alarm blares in their minds. The situation is escalating beyond containment. The river's hum grows louder, a deep, resonant thrumming that shakes the very ground. The air grows colder, carrying the scent of metallic ink and fear, a bitter cocktail. The Foundation's grip tightens, its silent commands weaving through the town's fabric. The crew knows their next move must be decisive, or all of FluffTown will succumb. They exchange determined glances, a silent promise to fight this encroaching darkness. Luma scans for weaknesses. Pox searches for structural integrity. Stitch plans, barriers. Moss prepares for emotional surges. Tick tries to override the insidious digital commands. The Black River continues its silent march, a dark, unstoppable force of will. Its surface shimmers, reflecting the town's vulnerability, its imminent surrender. The ink reaches the steps of the town hall, a grim, silent conquest. It begins to write a new, more profound message upon the hallowed ground. The air holds its breath, waiting for the chilling, indelible words to appear. A collective shiver runs through the crew, anticipating the Foundation's next decree. The dark, liquid twists, forming complex, powerful symbols with menacing grace. The first word emerges, clear and stark against the pale stone. It reads, Descend. The stark command, descend, glows ominously on the town hall steps. A profound chill grips the crew, its meaning resonating with immediate dread. The ink continues, its insidious script coiling and spreading across the plaza. Another word forms slowly, each stroke deliberate, infused with dark intent. It is a chilling addendum, a horrifying stipulation to the initial directive. The second command materializes, stark and undeniable. Bring one. A collective gasp escapes the crew, their hearts plummeting with icy fear. The implication hangs heavy in the air, a terrifying, unspoken question. Who is the one? Which unsuspecting soul will be claimed by the Foundation? Suddenly, all the town's soft, glowing lights blink once, in perfect, chilling unison. It is a silent, town-wide acknowledgement, an unsettling, collective agreement. The Foundation's control is absolute. The entire community is now complicit. The quiet acquiescence of the town is far more terrifying than any open rebellion. Luma, her face etched with grim determination, acts with lightning-fast precision. She deploys absorbent filters designed to trap the signal pulses within the ink. These intricate filters shimmer, creating a localized field that disrupts the commands. They absorb the latent energy, preventing the ink from further influencing the town. Pox, moving with powerful resolve, begins constructing a temporary but he uses salvaged cobblestones and sturdy planks, building a makeshift barrier. The berm reroutes the ink's flow into sealed channels, containing its dark spread. He works with furious urgency, his muscles straining against the heavy materials. Stitch! His nimble paws flying. Stitch's warning ribbons, bright against the dark. These ribbons are infused with subtle energetic wards, physically blocking access. They create a visible boundary, a clear demarcation between safety and danger. The crew works as one, a desperate symphony against the encroaching darkness. Their combined efforts slow the ink's advance, buying precious, fleeting time. But the commands on the town hall steps still glow, A persistent, ominous threat. Luma turns her attention to the river itself, a new strategy forming in her mind. She calibrates her projector, focusing its beam onto the dark, swirling surface. A familiar pattern of light pulses emerges, shimmering on the viscous black water. It is the season one Morse pattern, a symbol of awakening, a call to consciousness. The message blazes forth, defiant and clear. Wake! The ink in the river shudders violently, as if physically recoiling from the light. The dark liquid churns, forming angry eddies, a visible manifestation of offense. A low, guttural murmur rises from the depths, a sound of ancient, simmering rage. For a fleeting moment, the river itself seems to speak, its voice chillingly clear. The deep current whispers, resonating through the very ground. Settlement comes. The words hang in the air, a prophecy of impending doom, of ultimate reckoning. The crew stands frozen, the river's direct communication, a profound, terrifying shock. This is not just a system, it is a conscious entity, aware of their defiance. The Foundation is a living, breathing ledger, demanding its due with chilling resolve. A sudden, cold spray of ink leaps from the agitated river, an act of hostile intent. A single, dark droplet arcs through the air, unerringly targeting a crew member. It lands squarely on Moss's soft fur, a dark stain against her gentle white coat. Moss gasps, feeling an immediate, cold, burning sensation where the ink landed. The droplet rapidly spreads, expanding into a complex, intricate pattern on her fur. It is not random. It is a deliberate chiringu inscription, a personal decree. The black ink forms a date, stark and undeniable against her pale fur. It reads, "Tomorrow, dawn." Beneath the date, a single, terrifying word materializes with dark finality. The word, etched in insidious black, is a declaration of ownership. CLAIM. Moss stares, paralyzed, at the chilling inscription, her breath catching in her throat. The other crew members gather around her, their faces pale with dawning horror. They see the date, the time, the terrifying command written on their friend. The river's hum intensifies, a triumphant, ominous crescendo filling the air. The town's lights, still blinking, seem to mock their desperate struggle. The Foundation has made its choice. The ledger is balanced. A payment due. One fixer will be claimed at dawn. A chilling sacrifice for FluffTown's.com. Moss feels the ink burning into her fur, a cold brand of impending doom. Her heart pounds, a frantic drumbeat against the overwhelming silence of the town. The weight of the Foundation's debt presses down, suffocating and inescapable. The dawn approaches, bringing with it an unknown, terrifying fate for one of them. The Black River continues to flow, a dark, silent testament to the Foundation's power. Its surface reflects the pale, frightened faces of the crew, their despair evident. The air grows heavy with the scent of ink and the bitter taste of impending loss. FluffTown remains quiet, its inhabitants blissfully unaware of the grim selection. The stitched smiles of the residents hide the true cost of their peaceful existence. The bells that toll, in bone, now ring silently for the chosen, the one to be claimed. Ink rivers continue to write commands, sealing the town's dark, predetermined fate. The crew faces an impossible choice, a moral triage of devastating proportions. They must decide, reinforce the debt or risk collapsing their only shelter. The season question echoes, who decides what is acceptable to lose in this town? The answer now feels chillingly clear, written in ink on Moss's fur. The Foundation decides, and its decision is final, absolute, and merciless. A profound sense of helplessness washes over them, cold and relentless. They look at Moss, then at each other, their unspoken fears hanging heavy. The sun will rise soon, casting long shadows of doubt and despair. The debt beneath the velvet demands its payment, a life for the town's tranquility. The dark fantasy, Kaiju Multiverse, reveals it's true. Predatory nature. FluffTown's softness becomes unmistakably predatory, devouring its own. The crew stands united, yet utterly broken by this cruel, silent decree. The ink on Moss's fur glows faintly, a beacon of their impending, tragic choice. The night deepens, holding its breath for the inevitable, heartbreaking dawn. The ledger is complete, its final entry a name etched in dark, unforgiven ink. The story continues, but with a piece of their heart irrevocably lost. The silence of FluffTown screams with the weight of its crushing, hidden debt. The Foundation has spoken, its command echoing through their very souls. They are helpless, trapped in a system that feeds on their very essence. The dawn approaches, bringing with it the ultimate, heartbreaking sacrifice. The river flows on, a dark, silent witness to the town's grim, tragic fate.